Good morning, my name is Chris Adam with Youth Pleasure Employers, and I'm delighted to be joined by Dave from KDH Training. Hello there, Dave.
Good afternoon, actually.
It is afternoon. Sorry, I realised as soon as I said that, I was a bit like, no, I've lost track of time. So good afternoon, and thanks, Dave, for giving me the time to speak with me today. And I guess my sort of first question has to be, can you tell me a little bit about KDH Training and what it is you do?
KDH Training was established last year in April. We basically provide to the construction industry the facility to do national vocational qualifications. We also provide an entry-level training course for young people, young adults looking to join in construction. It's a 3-day course, and it gains the approval to go for the HSE touchscreen test, obtain a CSCS operative card, and hopefully find employment in the construction industry. That's a program we've been running with Centrepoint and Kia up in the northeast of England.
Okay.
So that's the main thing I think might be a benefit to you. The NVQs as well. I'm not sure if you're aware, but to have the CSCS card, industry accreditation is being removed from December next year. So there's 44,000 people in the industry need NVQs in their trade to retain their CSCS card. So that's basically what we do. We ensure that people either get started in work in the construction industry or they retain the place in the construction industry.
Just so I can wrap my head around this a little bit more, can you give me an idea almost of like how to put it, of the process, as it were, about in terms of like how it would go from you working with a client through to, as I say, someone completing the qualification?
It starts off with an induction process. Obviously, when the client comes to us and says, I need these level of qualifications, we're actually accredited with a company called NOCN, which bought the qualifications from CITB. So we can do level 2s through to level 7. Level 7 being basically company directors and people that are running companies. We do the induction process. We ensure that they're registered for the correct qualification for the job that they're doing. That induction process is part of that. We would then come out and meet the people. When we do the induction process, we tie that in with doing some observation videos and picking up supporting information. And then we'd have to progress to professional discussions, which is the units that we go through with the individual. We record them units. That becomes part of the portfolio. And then it's my job then to go away and do the portfolio, put it through our internal quality assurance, which is my brother, who's ex-CITB, and he's qualified to do that. That then goes to the external quality assurance, who was employed by NOCN, for him to approve the portfolio. But we're actually in the process now, and we have already gained some units direct claim status. They trust the centre. They've been monitoring us for 18 months. So that means it's a quicker process. So that is start to finish gateways.
And if we talk specifically about your role within the organisation, and a lot of these employer talks, we focus on sort of, some of the skills that we need. If there was a young person who wanted to come in and do, your role one day, based on what you said there, it sounds like communication is at the heart of a lot of what you do, whether it's these initial conversations or things further down the line, especially when you're doing your observations and that part of things. One, how true is that? And two, what other kind of sort of personality traits and soft skills serve you well in your role?
My background is I'm a chartered civil engineer. I worked for May Gurney for 14 years in Norwich. I've managed teams. I was the project director for May Gurney. I've managed teams, so I know how to bring the best out of people. I know how to pose the relevant questions to bring the answers out of people. One of the biggest changes for me is that I've been used to managing. Now I've got to listen to other people and get them to tell me how they would do things, and basically act as if I don't understand what I'm talking about, if that makes sense. It's getting them to answer. So the my role in the company is I'm the managing director, so I'm responsible for the strategy. But I've also gone through my assessing qualification last year. I've done my NVQ level 6 and 7, and I've went to the MCIOB. I am now to obtain my chartership. When I'm doing assessments, so I will do assessments as well, as will my brother. So we also have other subcontract assessors that can do plant and lifting operations and things such as that. So we offer a wide variety of what we can actually assess in. That's what I do, and that's what the company does.
And if we could to explore the role of a managing director a little bit more, because I say there will be young people watching this video, who may want to go into a variety of different sectors and actually will have ambitions to be in that kind of, job role one day. And, you've mentioned that, as you say, like a big part of, that role is, maintaining the strategy and developing that as well. On a daily basis, I know there's no such thing as a typical day, doesn't exist in any industry, but as a managing director, what do your days look like? What do the good days look like, and what do the challenging days look like?
From my point of view, I'm going out talking to clients, and I have to look at the forward workload. I've been responsible for putting together a business plan so that we know where we're going and what our roadmap is. And on a typical day, I'm talking to customers, I'm talking to people like you, I'm going through Teams meetings, and then putting together proposals so that, when we say, well, yeah, actually, this is what we want, we could do with this service. I'm then looking into the way that we can do it, the cost of doing it, and then, of course, what rebates and grants that the company can get, because a lot of this is funded by CITB. So I'm looking in that high level for the strategy. On a bad day, it's when I'm not talking to clients, and when I'm having to get up early to go and do an assessment because it may be 3-4 hours away. We are passionate that we will do a visit. We will go and see the people. There's been quite a lot of changes in the industry since COVID that people were allowed to do it remotely. We disagree with that vehemently. So, like, on a bad day, I could be going to Southampton. I could be going to Middlesbrough, which is where I'm from originally. But we're based in Kings Lynn. So hopefully my bad days for anybody in Norfolk and Suffolk are few and far between. So that's where I'm at.
And as you say, like, it's, you've got a lot of experience with the pathways into the sector, and a lot of knowledge on that. For a young person who maybe is umming and ahhing about whether to get into the sector, what the best pathway is, from your experience, what advice would you give?
The advice that I give for going into the construction industry is that there's such variety in the industry that if you want a challenging job and you want something that you can progress in and progress quickly, you obviously go in at entry level. But if you apply yourself very quickly, you could look at either are you going to be trade or management, and if you'd want to progress to management, actually. But as I said, every day is different, and in fact, every hour is different. And if you want something that is a settled role that you know what you're going to do in, day out, it's not for you. If you want something that is a daily challenge, something to progress you, something to see where you want to get at. I started as a trainee technician up in Cleveland County, progressed with a contractor, and moved up eventually within about 15 years to a director's role, albeit more around a project and then a division. So, and now it's a company. So they're your steps. So starting from a very early age, that's where you can get to fairly quickly.
And from that early age, as you said there, once a young person interested in the sector gets to a certain point, they can start, as I say, the qualifications and gaining experience. But when I say before that, if they are sort of, they've got an interest in construction and they, want to learn as much as they can, so that when they get to that chance to take the opportunity, they can do. What kind of things would you advise they are doing? Whether it's things they could be researching, things they could be doing in their spare time, things they can be doing at home that would, help them build up a catalogue of experience or knowledge or anything in advance. What kind of things would you advise they do?
Depending on which part of the construction industry you want to go in. If you want to go into the trade side of it, which is bricklaying, it's carpentry, plastering, it's suspended ceilings, all of these things that go into it, a lot of that is just researching how you would do that, and what college courses are available, what apprenticeships, what programs that there is with the likes of College of West Anglia, and with this, that you do it on a day release. There's a certain entry level requirements if you want to go into the management side, which is your English language, your maths, and your physics. So if they don't possess them, then that's certainly something going down that route would be worthwhile, if that's the management route that you want to follow. The trade units, it's all about learning in college on a day release, and then getting on the job during the week and learning from the experienced people how to walk the walk.
That's a really useful, insightful piece of advice, and it leads me quite well onto my final question, actually, Dave. And I've asked this to all the employers I've done these employer talks with, which is, you've told me a little bit about sort of your background and your experiences and maybe some things you've learned along the way. If you could go back and speak to, say, a 17, 18-year-old Dave, taking into account sort of maybe, as I say, successes you've had and mistakes you might have made or learned from, what's the one piece of career advice you would go back and give to your younger self?
The career advice I'd give to my younger self would be to keep pushing, to keep trying to better yourself. Don't settle in a role and become stale. One of the things that I'm very happy that I did is that I didn't jump employers. I've only worked for four companies. I've shown loyalty, and that's one thing really that the construction industry struggles with operatives. People move from job to job for a slight difference in pay. I did on one occasion, and I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't have done that again. I'd have looked at staying with the company a little bit more and getting qualified in what I knew. The other thing is as well, construction is, and it was advice that was given to me as a young man. You're never going to build a bridge at the end of your road every week. So you've got to be prepared to look at the fact that it's travel. And then I learned that after 4 years in the industry, and then I was traveling on a daily basis. It's early starts, it's late finishes, mainly because of the traveling. So the one advice again that I give myself is I went into the design side of it. I should have gone straight into the hands-on construction side of it, because that's what I found more interesting.